Hello, this is Jackie, and today I'm going to read a book for you. The title is You Are Here, and it is written by Thich Nhat Hanh. The cover says that discovering the magic of the present moment. Uh, Today I'm going to read the chapter 4, Healing Our Wounds and Pain. The reason I read this part is that I'm still suffering from my past. Yeah, as you know, in life we get through some difficulties and we get hurt sometimes. Yeah, I have some scars in my mind, and I'm still suffering. So I think I need to heal my uh, wounds and pain. So uh, I'm reading this chapter for myself first and for you. Okay. I hope you guys are healing your pain and wounds you got from the past. Okay. Page 67. Healing our wounds and pain. Here is a practice point that you can use in everyday life, at any time, no matter where you are. In, out, deep, slow, calm, ease, smile, release. You can recite this no matter what you are doing. While you are driving your car, while you are watering your garden, while you are cooking, or before falling asleep, as well as during walking or sitting meditation. In, out. This phrase comes to us directly from the Buddha. What it means is breathing in. I know that I am breathing in. Breathing out. I know that I am breathing out. That's the whole thing. It's a simple recognition of what is happening. An in-breath and then an out-breath. Mindfulness is first of all the ability to recognize what is happening in the present moment. It is simple recognition, without judgment or criticism, without suppression or attachment. I breathe in, and I am aware that the in-breath is here. I breathe out, and I'm aware that the out-breath is here. There's no criticism or struggle. There's no effort either to reject anything or grab onto it. Breathing in, breathing out. The breath is flowing in. The breath is flowing out. You could also say in breath, out breath, or even just in, out. It is very simple, yet you can regard this practice as recognition of everything that is happening in the present moment. I'm breathing in. This is an in-depth, in-breath. I'm breathing out. This is an out-breath. During this time, all thoughts stop. The past, the future, your memories and plans, you drop everything. You are your in-breath, and you become one with your in-breath. Concentration occurs. This will give you a great deal of pleasure. Breathing in. I know that I am breathing in. Let me remind you again that this practice comes to us directly from the Buddha. You are free of any intention to judge, find fault, reject, or cling. And you maintain that freedom in relation to whatever is happening. When you get angry or depressed, it is the same. You simply recognize what is there. anger, depression, and so forth, without any sense of disapproval or rejection. If we recognize emotion as existing in the moment, you will not feel upset. There's no battle to win or lose. This is Buddhist meditation. When you drink whiskey, learn to drink it with mindfulness. Drinking whiskey. I know that it is whiskey I am drinking. This is the approach that I would recommend. I'm not telling you to absolutely stop drinking. I propose that you drink your whiskey mindfully. And I am sure that if you drink this way for a few weeks, you will stop drinking alcohol. Drinking your whiskey mindfully, you will recognize what is taking place in you, in your body, in your liver, in your relationships, in the world, and so on. When your mindfulness becomes strong, you will just stop. You do not have to struggle against the desire. There's no need for a battle within you. Mindfulness is something that embraces and includes things like desire, that recognizes them with great tenderness. Meditation is not about turning yourself into a battlefield where one side fights the other, because the basis of Buddhist meditation is non-duality. The habits of drinking alcohol or getting angry are also you, and therefore you must treat them with great tenderness and non-violence. The essential point is not to create conflict, a fight within yourself. So we begin with simple recognition. Then, when the energy of mindfulness is strong and you have concentration, you can practice looking deeply into the nature of whatever is arising. And from that comes insight. Insight liberates you from all negative tendencies. Breathing in. I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out. I know that I am breathing out. This is very simple, yet it can give you a lot of pleasure. You cultivate concentration, and with that concentration, you touch life deeply. You are free at the moment. Let me say a few words about adding the words deep, slow to this practice of breath awareness. Deep. In this case, does not mean we are trying to make our inhalation deeper. It simply means that after a few minutes of practicing, breathing in, breathing out, you will notice that your breathing has become deeper and slower. As you breathe in, you notice that your in-breath has become longer. As you breathe out, you notice that your out-breath has become gentler. As a result, your practice becomes pleasurable, and this pleasure nourishes and transforms you. Deep, slow, deep, slow. The practice should be enjoyable and pleasant. The elements called joy and pleasure Unida, and Priti in Sanskrit are a very important part of meditation. If we are suffering during meditation, your practice is not correct. Practice should be enjoyable and pleasant. It should be full of joy. So, whether your practice is walking or sitting meditation, do it in such a way that joy and pleasure are possible. It is not supposed to be hard labor. And in your everyday life, just as you do, not do violence to your breathing. Do not do violence to your body, or to your anger or depression. We need to treat them with a great deal of tenderness, because the essential thing in Buddhist meditation is not to create tension, conflict, or rift within yourself. The positive elements within you are you, and the negative elements within you are also. It is necessary for the positive elements to acknowledge and cradle the negative elements. And if we do that, a transformation will take place. There is no need for the two to do battle. Weathering emotional storms. Calm, ease. If we find there is not enough peace in your emotions, your perceptions, or your feelings, you should practice calming them. Breathing in, I calm my feelings. Breathing out, I smile at my feelings. When you're feeling yanked by strong emotions, you can practice like this. Assume a seated posture in which you can be solid, where you can lie down. As you breathe, bring your attention to your navel and to the movement of your abdomen. Your abdomen rises and falls. Follow that movement. Do not think about anything. The object of your attention is solely the movement of your abdomen. I breathe in, I breathe out. I breathe in, I breathe out. A strong emotion is like a storm. If you look at a tree in a storm, the top of the tree seems fragile, like it might break at any moment. You're afraid the storm might uproot the tree. But if you turn your attention to the trunk of the tree, you realize that its roots are deeply anchored in the ground, and you see that the tree will be able to hold. You too are a tree. During a storm of emotion, you should not stay at the level of the head or the heart, which are like the top of the tree. You have to leave the heart, the eye of the storm, and come back to the trunk of the tree. Your trunk is 1 centimeter below your navel. Focus there. Pay attention only to the movement of your abdomen. And continue to breathe. Then you will survive the storm of strong emotion. It is essential to understand that an emotion is merely something that arises, remains, and then goes away. A storm comes, it stays a while, and then it moves away. At the critical moment, remember that you are much more than your emotions. This is a simple thing that everybody knows, but you may need to be reminded of it. You're much more than your emotions. Many people have no idea how to face their emotions, and they suffer because of it. A lot of young people are like that, and they think the only way to put an end to their suffering is to kill themselves. Why do we have to die? Because of emotion. We must practice this ourselves, and we must help young people to practice it. You should not wait for emotion to appear before you begin practicing. Otherwise, you will be carried away by the storm. You should train now, while the emotion is not there. So sit or lie down and practice mindfulness of the breath, using the movement of your abdomen as the object of your attention. I'm positive that if you do this exercise for 20 days, 10 minutes per day, then you will know how to practice whenever a strong emotion comes up. After 10 or 20 minutes, the emotion will go away, and you will be saved from the storm. The practice of letting go. If there are things that are causing you to suffer, you have to know how to let go of them. Happiness can be attained by letting go, including letting go of your ideas about happiness. You imagine that certain conditions are necessary to your happiness, but deep looking will reveal to you that those notions are the very things standing in the way of happiness and are making you suffer. One day, the Buddha was sitting in the forest with some monks. They had just finished their lunch and were about to begin a Dharma discussion when a farmer approached them. The farmer said, "Venerable monks, did you see my cows come by? I have 12 cows, and they all ran away. On top of that, I have 5 acres of sesame plants, and this year the insects ate them all up. I think I'm going to kill myself. I can't go on living like this." The Buddha felt a strong compassion toward the farmer. He said, "My friend, I'm sorry. We didn't see your cows come this way." When the farmer had gone, the Buddha turned to his monks and said, "My friends, do you know why you're happy? Because you have no cows to lose." I would like to say the same thing to you, my friends. If you have some cows, you have to identify them. You think they are essential to your happiness, but if you practice looking deeply, you will understand that it is these very cows that have brought about your unhappiness. The secret of happiness is being able to let go of your cows. You should call your cows by their true names. I assure you that when you have let your cows go, you will experience happiness. Because the more freedom you have, the more happiness you have. The Buddha taught us that joy and pleasure are based on surrender, on letting go. I am letting go. It's a powerful practice. Are you able to let go of things? If not, your suffering will continue. You must have the courage to practice letting go. You must develop a new habit, the habit of realizing freedom. You must identify your cows. You must regard them as bonds of slavery. You must learn, as the Buddha and his monks did, to set your cows free. It is the energy of mindfulness that helps you to identify your cows and call them by their true names. Smile, release. When you have an idea that is making you suffer, you should let go of it, even or perhaps especially if it is an idea about your own happiness. Every person and every nation has an idea of happiness. In some countries, people think that a particular ideology must be followed to bring happiness to the country and its people. They want everybody to approve of their idea of happiness, and they believe that those who are not in favor of it should be imprisoned or put in concentration camps. It is possible to maintain such thinking for 50 or 60 years, and in that time to create enormous tragedy just because of this idea of happiness. Perhaps you too are the prisoner of your own notion of happiness. There are thousands of paths that lead to happiness, but you have accepted only one. You have not considered other paths because you think that yours is the only one that leads to happiness. You have followed this path with all your might, and so the other path, the thousands of others, have remained close to you. We should be free to experience the happiness that just comes to us without our having to seek it. If you are a free person, happiness can come over you just like that. Look at the moon. It travels in the sky, completely free. And this freedom produces beauty and happiness. I'm convinced that happiness is not possible unless it is based on freedom. If you are a free woman, if you are a free man, you will enjoy happiness. But if you are a slave, even if only the slave of an idea, happiness will be very difficult for you to achieve. That is why you should cultivate freedom, including freedom from your own concepts and ideas. Let go of your ideas, even if abandoning them is not easy. Conflict and suffering are often caused by a person not wanting to surrender his concepts and ideas of things. In the relationship between a father and a son, for example, or between partners, this happens all the time. It is important to train yourself to let go of your ideas about things. Freedom is cultivated by this practice of letting go. If you look deeply, you may find that you're holding on to a concept that is causing you to suffer a great deal. Are you intelligent enough? Are you free enough to give up this idea? I am becoming calm. I am letting go. Having let go, victory is mine. I smile. I am free. The Dharma that the Buddha presented is radical. It contains radical measures for healing, for transforming the present situation. People become monks and nuns because they understand that freedom is very precious. The Buddha did not need a bank account or a house. In the time of the Buddha, the possessions of a monk or a nun were limited to the robes they wore and the bowl in which to collect alms. Freedom is very important. You should not sacrifice it for anything, because without freedom, there is no happiness. How to experience the miracle of life. Joy and happiness are born of concentration. When you are having a cup of tea, the value of that experience depends on your concentration. You have to drink the tea with 100% of your being. The true pleasure is experienced in the concentration. When you walk and you are 100% concentrated, the joy you get from the steps you are taking is much greater than the joy you would get with the concentration. You have to invest 100% of your body and mind in the act of walking. Then you will experience that being alive and taking steps on this planet are miraculous things. The Zen master Rinzai, also known as Rinzai, said the miracle is walking on the earth, not walking on water or fire. The real miracle is walking on this earth. Why should you not perform a miracle just by walking? A step taken with mindfulness can lead you to the kingdom of God. This is possible. You can do it today. Life is too precious for us to lose ourselves in our ideas and concepts, in our anger and our despair. We must wake up to the marvelous reality of life. We must begin to live fully and truly every moment of our daily lives. When you are holding a cup of tea in your hand, do it while being 100% there. You know how to do this. One deep in breath, one gentle out breath, and the body and mind come together. You are truly there, absolutely alive, fully present. This only takes 10 or 15 seconds, and suddenly the tea reveals itself to you in all its splendor and wonder. When I pick up a book or open a door, I want to invest myself in this act 100%. This is what I learned during my monastic training, when my teacher taught me how to offer a stick of incense. A stick of incense is very small and very light, yet the right way to hold it is with 2 hands. When offering the incense, you have to invest 100% of your being in your hands and in 2 of your fingers. The energy of mindfulness must be concentrated there. This may look like a ritual, but it is really an act of concentrated awareness. I put my left hand on my right hand, and during this time, I concentrate 100%. The incense is an offering to the Buddha. But does the Buddha really need incense? This is actually an offering of peace, of joy, and of concentration. During my first year of training at the temple, my teacher asked me to do something for him. I loved him so much that I became quite excited and I rushed out to do it. I was in such a hurry that I did not leave the room as I should have. I then closed the door properly with 100% of my being. He called me back. "Novice," he said, "come here." I knew right away that something was wrong. He said only, "My son, you can do better." He did not have to teach me this a second time. The next time, I did walking meditation to the door. I opened the door mindfully, and I closed the door behind me perfectly. Since that day, I have known how to close a door behind me. It must always be done with mindfulness, not for the sake of the Buddha, not for the teacher, but for myself. This is the way you create peace. This is the way you bring about freedom. You do it for your own happiness. And when you're happy, the people you relate with benefit from your presence and are happy too. A happy person is an important thing because their happiness spreads all around them. You can be a happy person too and become a refugee for all the beings around you. Concentration is the practice of happiness. There's no happiness without concentration. When you eat an orange, try to practice concentration. Eat it in such a way that pleasure, joy, and happiness are possible the whole time. You could call this orange meditation. You take an orange in the palm of your hand. You look at it and breathe in such a way that it reveals itself as the miracle it is. An orange is nothing less than a miracle. It is just like you. You are also a miracle of life. You are a manifest miracle. If I am 100% there, the orange reveals itself to me 100%. As I concentrate on the orange, I get deep insight from it. I can see the sun and the rain that are in it. I can see the flowers of the orange tree. I can see the little sapling sprouting, and then the fruit growing. Then I begin mindfully to peel the fruit. Its presence, its color, its texture, its smell and taste is a real miracle. And the happiness that comes to me from getting deeply in touch with it can become very, very great. A single orange is enough to give us a great deal of happiness. When you are truly there, entirely alive, fully present, getting deeply in touch with one of the miracles of life that surrounds you. Little by little, you must train yourself for life, for happiness. You probably received a college degree that you spent years working for, and you thought that happiness would be possible after you got it. But that was not true, because after getting the degree and finding a job, you continue to suffer. You have to realize that happiness is not something you find at the end of the road. You have to understand that it is here, now. Mindfulness practice is not an evasion or an escape. It means entering vigorously into life with the strength generated by the energy of mindfulness. Without this freedom and concentration, there is no happiness. Engaged Buddhism means engagement not only in social action, but in daily life. The object of this practice is joy in everyday life, which is freedom. We should use our time with a great deal of intelligence, because time is not only money. It is much more precious than that. It is life. A day is 24 hours long. Do you know how to manage it? You are intelligent and you have lots of different talents. But do you know how to manage your days? You must invest yourself 100% in organizing the days that are given to you to live. You can do it. With mindfulness practice, transforming your pain will become much easier. Joy and happiness will help you regain your balance and heal your pain. You know that good blood circulation is necessary for the well-being of your body. The same is true for your psyche. You must live and practice in such a way that your consciousness benefits from good circulation. Bad circulation of psychological elements creates problems. Blocks of suffering, fear, jealousy, and distress are struck in the deep depth of your consciousness. They cannot circulate and they make you feel fear. That's why you have closed the door to your store consciousness. Because you do not want these things to come to the surface. You're afraid of the pain in you. And so, whenever there is a gap in your day, you fill it up with books or television. So, these blocks of suffering do not come up to the surface. That is what most of us do. It's a palace of embargo. You do your best to forget what is inside you and consume whatever is available to help you do that. In this way, you create bad psychological circulation and mental problems will soon appear. While you are sleeping, accumulations of suffering will reveal themselves to you in your dreams. They cry out for help, but you continue to practice suppression and repression. Depression, fear, and confusion may also manifest in the realm of the soma, in the body. You will have headaches and all kinds of other aches and pains, but your doctor will not be able to identify the source of the pain because it is psychological in nature. Buddhism teaches that the body and mind are two aspects of the same thing. There's no duality between the physical and the mental aspects. There is a Sanskrit expression, nama rupa. Nama is our mental aspect, and rupa means form. We cannot make a distinction between the physical and the mental. Your hand is not just a physical formation. It is a mental formation at the same time. The cells of your body are not only physical, they're also mental. They're both at the same time. Buddhism has found that reality sometimes manifests as psyche and sometimes as soma. Psychosomatic is the Western term. Nama rupa is the equivalent in Sanskrit. We should train ourselves to see physical things as not solely physical. In fact, physical and mental are no more than expressions. The Humanist Manifesto, which was written in 1933, says that the mind-body duality should be rejected, including the idea of a soul that survives after death, because it also represents a duality. What do Buddhists say about this? Buddhism agrees that the mind-body duality should be rejected, but it does not say that the disintegration of the body represents a total negation. Buddhism helps us to see that neither the concept of permanence nor the concept of annihilation are applicable to reality. Beyond birth and death, if we look deeply into the nature of reality, we'll see that nothing is created or lost. As the Buddhist text called the Prajnaparamita says, there is neither birth nor death. Birth is a concept. Death is too. And neither of these concepts is applicable to reality. We must make an effort to look into this truth deeply to confirm it for ourselves. In our minds, we think that birth means we start from nothing and become something. That from nobody we become somebody. That is our definition of birth. From nothing comes existence. From nothing comes being. But that is absurd, because it is impossible for anything to come from nothing. This piece of paper I'm holding in my hand is something that exists right now. Can we establish